I'm like, I don't want to tell you. They're like, okay, you don't want to tell us. I'm like, no, I don't. I really don't want to tell you. And they're like, well, you realize that your friend, whoever it was, clicked in for you and they broke the code too. And you admit that you broke the rules, right? I'm like, yeah, I broke the rules. And they're like, so your friend broke the rules too? And I'm like, yeah, my friend broke the rules too. They're like, so you have to reveal your friend. I'm like, I'm not going to reveal my friend. They did a full Patrick, is this your wallet from SpongeBob to me. And I'm like, that's not my wallet.
Okay, the geniuses will see us now.
I'm a pro.
He's very unprofessional.
Very unprofessional.
These are our newly arrived surgeons, Doctors Trowbridge and Greenbaum.
Doctor?
Doctor? Doctor? Doctor?
Doctor?
Doctor?
Doctor?
Doctor?
We're not doctors.
Are you sure they can handle this?
Oh, we can handle it. We're professionals.
You'll forgive us if we're not instilled with confidence.
Potentially unprofessional pieces of content.
All right.
We're back.
We're ready.
Do the clap.
Hey.
There it is. We're starting.
Let's go.
We're like fancy now.
We're fancy, bro. We got mics.
The mics are just blowing me away.
Let us introduce ourselves again. I am Trevor.
Ken.
And he's back from vacay.
Yeah. Long vacay. Much needed. Did a lot of nothing. And that's what I needed. Now that I'm back, though, it's hard to get...
Went back to Canada.
Yeah. It's hard to, like, get started with anything. People in my psych rotation are, like, doing work. And I keep telling them...
You don't have to.
Just wait until, like, the 4th week, then start. Like, there's nothing to study.
That's the worst advice I've ever heard.
You guys are starting... Isn't that what, like, our roommate did? Isaiah? Like, he started the 4th week, and... Everyone I know started super
I
late.
guess I did this. I studied early and then I just switched to a different. I just switched to.
That's smart.
Yeah.
But the residents in our rotation are like, you guys can study, but you know, for me, I don't know, like if there's anything, and they're like, you can teach us something.
Because you're in psych right now, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
That? Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'll teach you something. So from now on, my job is just to like come up with topics that I want to present on. Make a PowerPoint, look at research, and just present it to them. And I'm
to the residents?
like, yeah, I'm honestly like pretty psyched because...
Just because you're already through all this shit?
Yeah.
Is anyone else doing that?
No.
Oh, so you're special.
Yeah, they can study if they
Look at
want.
you.
But I'm actually pretty psyched because now I can just like look up the stuff that I'm interested in
Yeah,
rather
that's
than
nice.
like, you know, learning the stuff that... doing nothing because I do nothing in the residence room like all day. But it's been very informative. It was really nice. One thing I realized about psych, I don't know, I've seen like a few patients. I think you might have seen more in your rotation, but people tell you anything. Like, especially in psychiatry.
You're talking about the patients themselves?
Yeah. Because like, it's all inpatient. There's no outpatient.
Mine was too.
So we had this guy who was like a 23-year-old guy, molested as a kid, and we'll call him Mike.
Mm-hmm.
That's not his real name. I'm not breaking HIPAA. And he had like PTSD from being molested as a kid. He was having like suicidal dreams, and so he came in and like was self-admitted. So he was talking to us on his first day, and he like tells us everything, his entire life story about how he was molested. He's like, I've never told anyone this. And the doctor's like, it's okay, I'm a psychiatrist. And he's like, okay, I'll tell you.
Boom, open.
And he's like, I'm kind of a masochist now. I've never told anyone. He's like, that's okay, like you can tell me. And he's like, yeah, well, I get like pleasure from pain. And like it was me, the resident, and these 2 girls who are students with me as well. And he's like, yeah, so one time I was masturbating and like I got a cut in my dick and it like turned me on, so I fucking
He's
masturbated
really letting it
even
go.
harder.
And there's a whole bunch of students that are listening,
there was
right?
3 fucking students and 1 resident, and he's just like,
He's just letting it go.
yeah. And like no one has like any fear of like what they tell a psychiatrist. Like no one ever gonna hear this, so they just say anything. And he's like, I think I'm a masochist now. And he's like, yeah, maybe, you know, we'll have to like look into it more.
Bro, people want to reveal things about themselves. You just have to like show that you're not judgmental and shit. I mean, when you're a psychiatrist, it's just over with. But as far as like in just a real person, like I'm not a qualified psychiatrist setting, like if you just like take away the judgment, take away the different things, like, oh, this won't be told to anyone else, like,
yeah,
people will tell you fucking everything.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Some people, like, it just blows my mind, like, shit they've done. There's one guy, his first day, he told me that, like, he's like, I killed my brother, but I'm not a killer. I'm like, okay, explain this one to me.
What?
Like, people...
Is he actually a murderer?
Yeah, he said his brother, they were fishing on a boat or something, and, like...
This is just Cain and Abel.
Yeah. His brother was, like, going through his stuff in, like, his, like, fishing box. And he was like...
Oh, that's grounds for murder, for sure.
I was like, of course, man. I understand.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%.
So he was like, you know, I was just like jokingly pushed him. He fell overboard. He couldn't swim and I couldn't swim. So I couldn't do anything. And I was like, why don't you just pull him up? You know, but I didn't say that. And he's like, I just watched him drown. And I had
also,
to
a lot of those stories from the psych unit are pretty fake.
Dude, the amount of people that confess murders is insane.
Well, I mean, some of like the schizophrenic patients will just say crazy ass shit, and you don't know if it's real or not.
I don't know if it's real, but
it's like, oh, okay, like God visited you. Okay, that's nice. What did he say? Oh, it was a girl. All right. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know how much of it is true, but you know, why would they lie about murder? I don't know, but also they're not in the right mind, so who knows? But it's been very educational. I try not to judge, but some people's stories are like
super interesting to be inpatient psych. Like you see some wild shit, bro.
The craziest of
I mean, it's literally the craziest of the crazy. It's
I'm glad like no psych program directors are going to see this, because I'm definitely not going to get psych residency if I want to, which I don't want to, by the way.
Yeah.
It's just shown, but the lifestyle is really good. They work 9 to 4 every day.
Yeah, bro.
Like, insanely easy schedule.
The psych resident who I was talking to when I was there, he was like, look, if you love yourself, you do psych. Like, if you don't love yourself, you do surgery. He's like, it's that simple. I'm like, all right, man, noted.
That's true. They have like, they're very well. They're like, they have a lot of focus on wellness, and they're all very well, I gotta say. All right, so my clap this time. I got a story.
Tell me.
It's kind of a long one, but
tell me. Unless
you have some other topic.
I mean, later, but go.
All right. So my main story from when I went home to Canada was I went home, surprised my parents. No one knew I was coming, so I had a few days to chill, did my thing, and my cousins were going to come on the 27th of July. So I haven't seen them since, like, I was early 20s. So I'm, like, 26 now. Maybe when I was 21 I saw them or something, 20. So it's been a long time. And I saw them last at a wedding in New York, because one of my family members was getting married, or maybe it was Toronto, I don't know. And I went to the wedding. They were there.
Was that wedding canceled too, or is that just your sister?
No,
okay.
that was good.
Okay.
Although the guy was such a huge dork. I'm like, why did you marry this guy?
Why does that keep happening? Why is that a theme? All right.
Who chooses, you know, girls need me to choose their spouse.
Everybody come to Ken.
So...
We're sponsored by Ken's dating service. If you need to pick the right man, Ken will be the man in your family.
I can't help you get them, but I can pick for you. That's all.
25% off with the discount code
Ken. It's
Ken.
not a good discount.
Okay. Go.
So I saw them at the wedding, and they were like, I didn't see them long. I only saw them for like a day. But they were very shy. You know, they wouldn't talk.
Your cousins?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
They don't make a lot of eye contact.
It's weird.
And
I don't know boys or girls?
I don't know how old they were then, but like it's one guy now who's 20 and one girl who's 16 now. So they're like, you know,
okay, they're still pretty young.
Yeah. Except the guy, he's in third year of university.
I thought this was like a 26-year-old, like not able to make eye contact. I'm like, damn, man.
He's my age.
You might have to tell him something.
So they come and like we pick them up from the airport, and you know how like when you're seeing a patient, you have to describe their appearance.
Yeah.
I would describe them as inappropriately dressed.
Wait.
And not like adequately groomed.
Are you serious? Would you actually like in a patient setting, like a clinical setting? Really?
They were not dressed like.
That's amazing.
For their age. Mm-hmm. Like the girl was wearing like just mismatched clothes, and like a purse. And the guy was wearing clothes that, like, I wouldn't expect a
just because she was 16, it just seemed off, or what?
It's just not something you would wear, I feel.
Okay.
Like, it's really... I don't think 16-year-olds dress like that. At least they didn't, like, when I just, like... The clothes were, like, not matching.
Okay.
It was just, like... basically, if you don't give a fuck, you get 2 random things from your closet and you wear that. That's what it was.
Okay.
Guy was dressed a little better, but he would dress like a high schooler when he's like in 3rd year of university. So I was like expecting a little more. But the other thing was like he hadn't shaved at all, and his hair was like a complete mess. He had a neck beard, literally a neck beard, but he's not fat. And
I don't know if you put not well groomed on your history though, right? Or on like your physical exam.
Not adequately groomed. Because like, what do you look at? Like, you know, his beard was like, you know, too long.
So all neck beards get not adequately groomed.
Well, the thing is, like, it didn't look good. It wasn't good.
Motherfucker looks ugly.
Yeah, honestly, bro. It's
put in the physical exam. Could not date my sister. Log on to Ken's dating service.
The bar is high for dating my sister.
Apparently not, dude. Didn't we have a full podcast about some dweeb? Okay.
She was deluded for that.
Okay.
You know? So
diluted. She was full of water.
Yeah, dude. Right. So yeah, we go to my place. And I haven't seen these guys in a long time, so I don't know what to expect. But like, as soon as I meet them, I'm like, these guys are so fucking awkward. It's insane. Like,
okay. And again, do you think it's because culture? Do you think it's because they were young, or do you think it was just they're weird as fuck?
It's because they're sheltered.
Oh.
And I have like a lot of backstory into this too. So I was just talking to them, and we're trying to get to know them. You know, they don't ask any questions. It's just us asking questions, like me, my brother and sister. And they're just giving us like, you know, 1-word answers. I'm like, what do you like to do? Like, we do a lot of stuff here. Like, do you want to come with us? I was like, do you want to come play soccer? And he's like, oh, I play soccer, but like, I'm good. And like, I'll explain more later of like what happened, but
put the mic just a little closer. Yeah, that's fine.
All right. That first night that they were at our place, like, we probably gave them a list of like 15 things that like we could have done while they were there, because they were here at my place for like 2 weeks, and they shot down everything.
They just didn't want to do shit.
Yeah, we're like, do you want to go paintballing? And they're like, no, it sounds like it'd be you know, painful.
Did they really say it like that?
Yeah, it's just like unsure, and like they don't know what to say. But eventually they're like, you know, escape room they'll do, but we're like, rock climbing, they're like, no.
They sounded like the little pink animal from Winnie the Pooh. You know what I'm talking about?
Piglet?
Piglet.
Yeah. They were piglets, bro.
Damn.
Piglet, what did you find out? Was she awfully fierce and fearfully awful?
At first I thought so, but then I found out. She's very nice.
I should.
They don't want to go paintballing?
Yeah, they didn't want to do anything, man. They haven't done anything, and so.
So what did they do when they were home? Like, did you see them do anything?
Nothing, bro. That's the thing. Like, they don't do anything, and it doesn't make sense. But let me explain. Like, I experienced.
Okay.
So they came the first day that they came back. Whatever, we just chilled. You know, we hadn't seen them before. We were talking. They didn't talk. Some of this stuff, like, I mostly talked to the guy because, like, you know, my aunt asked my sister to like talk to her daughter more and get her out of her shell because like she doesn't say anything. And I think they both get bullied at school or something, or they did. Maybe that has something to do with it.
They're just little Kens, man. They have selective mutism.
Dude, they're at my peak anxiety. I was never as bad as them.
Really?
That's how bad they are.
Holy fuck.
And like eventually it gets better, but like I'm very surprised that like at 20, like his anxiety was still so bad. So some of the things that happened were like on the first day back, the day after they came back, they came to visit, I was like, hey, let's go play pool. We have a pool table in the basement, and I said I'd teach him. So he came and we played for like, you know, a game, and he's like, oh, yo, my mom was like, oh, time to eat out. She's like, oh, I'm gonna eat, why don't we play after? And then so we went to eat, and he didn't come back, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you say you're gonna come back and you don't. I think he was uncomfortable for some reason and decided to avoid the situation rather than stay, which was super frustrating for me. And then like I had soccer like the next day too, and so I was asking him to come, and for some reason he was very against it. He's like, oh, they're all gonna be your age. It's literally pickup soccer at my university, all university students.
Were you just like, nah, come anyway, it's cool?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he told me this. I was like, what are your concerns? Why don't you want to go? And his answer was...
A true psychiatrist.
They're all going to be your age, my age, which is 26 and he's 20. I'm like, no, it's going to be anyone. People from like 19 to like 30 come to play. It's whatever. They're all university students. And you have something in common. And I know a bunch of them, so I can introduce you. And here's the thing. Like, if you're going to play pickup soccer with like 20 unknowns, it's scary for anyone. But if you're going and like your family members there and they know people, like, what's scary about that? Literally you talk for like 5 minutes and then you start playing. But he wasn't into that. He said, I don't have cleats. I'm like, who cares? You know, half the people don't have cleats. And he's like, oh, I'm not good. I'm like, I'm literally the worst fucking player on the field.
It's true.
Like, I'm not going to be able to run. I'm not going to be able to dribble.
He's fucking dog shit.
Dude, I have no skill in anything. So I know what it's like, but it was very hard to convince him.
You're good at making tea. I'll give you that.
Anything physical, bro, I said, I'm dog shit. So it was really annoying from that. And eventually, like, we were going to go to Banff, which is in the mountains. And it was just like a weird experience overall. Like, he wanted to do hiking, but they don't have like the mental fortitude, I guess, to like complete anything. Once they hit a barrier, they would stop. You know, there's no effort to try to overcome it.
That's a big difference between like a man and a boy, I feel like.
Yeah, it was just strange. And then like some of the questions we had, like my brother and I were always doing stuff. Like we have our friends there, and we would ask like my cousin to come. He always had 3 questions. Who's all going? He doesn't know fucking anyone in my town. He's from Toronto. When are we going? Doesn't matter. He doesn't do anything all day anyway. And where are we going? And I'm like, why do any of these things matter? You don't know anything about my city. You don't know anyone, and you have nothing to do.
It's like, yo, we're going on an adventure. Get your ass up.
Yeah, dude. Like, I haven't seen anyone less, you know,
motivated
to go on an adventure. And I don't know what happened eventually. Like, eventually we got so tired of it. Like, we had a talk with him, and my brother and I, and we're like, one, you always fucking smell like BO, and you gotta change that. Just kidding. We didn't say that. He did always smell, but...
Why didn't you tell him?
It was funny. We didn't feel like, you know, we could say it in a nice way. My mom has no chill at all. So we were in the car one time. It was me, my brother, and
she's like, someone smells like ass.
As soon as he said...
Yo, who smells like shit? Yo, mom.
It's even worse than that. As soon as he sat in the car, she's like, hey...
Yo, someone shit themselves?
You smell like BO. Like, did you shower this morning?
That's so badass.
She has no fucking
That's
chill.
so badass.
And then he's like, oh, really? And then he put his Axe, like, deodorant on. I'm like, who uses Axe? Come on.
He's really back there.
Use something else.
He's really back there.
And then my mom is like, even less chill. She's like, do you shower every day? I was like, oh my god, man,
murdering him.
I wish I had the balls to do that, because
that's badass.
I would feel mean doing that. But
here's the thing, I don't do that in front of a whole group of people, but I'm gonna tell you in person, you know what I mean? Because otherwise, how do you know? Yeah,
you need someone to tell you.
That's not chill though, to just be like, yo, you smell like ass in front of the whole car of people. Like,
but my mom like does it in like a, you know, I care about you way. So you know, it's different. And he's such a liar, because he's like, yeah, I shower every day, and I fucking know. He's 20 and he's still doing that. We went to a junkyard to like look for car parts for something. Like my brother was working on a project, like fixing a car or some shit, and we went to the junkyard. It was fucking like 30 degrees, which is like 90 Fahrenheit, and literally this guy is like smelling like BO as we're standing outside, smelling like BO in the car. When we get home, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna shower and I'll come eat. And so I go shower, change my clothes, come downstairs, and this guy's already eating and he's wearing the same clothes, and he said he would shower. So I don't know why he fucking lied about that. It's just a weird thing to lie about. I'm like, what are you doing, bro?
I mean, I remember when I was a kid and I would like lie about dumb shit like that. I remember specifically being asked about, oh, do you cut your toenails? Like in front of a bunch of people. And in my head, I'm like, oh, bro, I cut them like very rarely. But then I said, I'm like, I just gave the most bullshit lie in the world. And they're like, okay.
I fucking cut them every day.
But bro,
man.
I was like a fucking child. You know what I mean? When you turn 20, man, you gotta be honest.
Man, not even 20. If you're in third year of university,
Oh, dude,
you're
yeah.
surrounded by like people, like professors, all the way down to like first years. You know, you have seniors, so you learn from them. But he doesn't know anything. Like, it's so weird. So eventually, my brother and I had a talk with him in the car.
That's good.
And we basically told him that, like, hey, like, especially me, I was like, I've been where you are. You know, I was very anxious growing up, but you gotta make changes. You gotta have friends that like put you into positions where you're uncomfortable, and you got to work at it. Like, you're not.
And
gonna
here
get
we talk
anything.
about it on this podcast, Unprofessional. Look it up.
Like crazy. And I don't know. We gave him a bunch of examples, like, sorry, everything that I had to go through to overcome my shit. And I even told him, I was like, yo, I had selective mutism. Like, how can you get more anxious than that? But somehow he does it.
Did he open up? He's like, you know what? You guys are right. I need to change.
Yeah, he didn't really open up to me. I think his big thing is like, I'm too old. And I'm like, we're both in our fucking 20s. Who cares? So he opened up to my brother more. But he was like very amazed at us. He didn't think, you see it on TV, but he didn't think that people went out every day and did things like.
Oh, wow.
And I'm not exaggerating. Like,
wow.
He honestly didn't know that people would go out and hang out with their friends every day. Like, that's not something.
What is that called? A cognitive dissonance or something? Where you're just like, you're just unaware?
Bro, my vocabulary is so small. I don't know how.
What's a cognitive and what's a dissonance?
Explain those words to me. I don't know. Maybe you're right.
I don't know. That's crazy, man.
So,
I mean, if you don't see it, you don't know, though.
Yeah, exactly. And he was very surprised to see everything and like see how the way that we live.
Yeah, and you guys are just wild. You guys go out all night and shit, snorting cocaine off your fucking.
Not exactly in that way, but like when I was there every day, like my friends would want to do something, and so people would come to the house. We'd go
just do activities.
Yeah, one of my friends actually was so funny, and this is like one of the first days I was back home. He came. We were gonna play spike ball, and we're waiting for my cousin to come. So there's like a big pond in my behind my backyard, and he went for a walk there. And when he was coming, like I waved at him like, "Hey, come! We want to play spike ball." And he goes to the front door. When we were all in the backyard, so I'm like, "Why did he do that?" And like 5 minutes go by, and I'm like, "Where the fuck is this guy? Like, is he still taking off his shoes or something? Like, what's going on?" So I go up inside my house, go upstairs to like the main floor, and this fucking guy sitting on the couch with his sister and his mom. And I'm like, bro, we fucking called you to come play spike
The
ball.
boys are playing. Let's go.
Yeah, and we had to go somewhere, so like we didn't have enough time to like have a game or whatever. So we decided to play pool instead. So we're playing pool, and my friend was there. Let's call him Jay. And my cousin came downstairs. I was like, "Hey, this is Jay. This is my cousin." And he like shook his hand, and we were like at one corner of the room. He went and sat in the other corner of the room.
Oh man.
And
like I feel for him, but damn, man.
2 minutes later, he goes upstairs. He didn't say a single word. Like, it was bad, bro.
See, he's just anxious and like unaware and he's just uncomfortable. And
The funny thing was, like,
a lot of uns.
He thinks that we can't see it, like that we don't know,
like it's hidden or something.
And it was so frustrating, like for them to think that we don't see what's going on with them. We don't see their insecurities. We don't see like what they're going through. But like we've all been through the same thing. Like we know what's going on.
And you literally sat him down and talked to him about it.
Yeah. And even after
it's hard to see, man.
At some points, I think they were like telling us less or talking to us less because they didn't want us to know more about them. So after, talking to them, he did get a bit better and he started opening up a little bit more. But it was mostly in situations like very, very, very small steps. Like I remember we went like whitewater rafting, And one of the things I wanted them to do was just like scream more. Like I was screaming on the boat the entire time because I'm like,
good. That's
fuck
good.
it, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, why don't I hear you guys screaming? And they're like, because it's not scary. I'm like, I don't care. You guys have to scream. They're like, well, we can't scream over you.
I love that.
I was like, why? There's two of you. And then I was like, okay, fine. I'm not going to scream. You guys scream. And like we had a big wave coming up. And I'm like, why didn't I hear you guys? They're like, oh, it wasn't scary.
I love that you're like a summer like coordinator, camp coordinator.
Man, it was so annoying. And I'm like, I don't care. Why don't you scream right now?
Like, be humans.
And they wouldn't do it because I don't know why. You
Bro,
know?
it's hard. Like, this day and age, like, I feel like kids literally have to, like, learn how to be a human and, like, interact with people.
I
like,
agree.
They just don't have experience with it, you know? I mean, yeah, they're sheltered a little bit, but same with a lot of kids. I mean, I was dating a girl before who was, like, pretty sheltered, but she lived in the middle of Brooklyn. You know what I mean? Like,
how do you sheltered in the middle
I don't
of
know,
Brooklyn?
but it like, you could still do it, you know? You just stay inside all day type shit.
She
So
must have never left her apartment.
yeah, I mean, if your parents just make you stay in all the time, then that's how it is, you know?
And that's the crazy thing because they're
What's
like,
up, Gabriel?
oh, his name is Gabriel.
Yeah.
I thought it was Isaiah.
No.
So the crazy thing is like their mom is very sheltering, but she wanted like my cousin, the 20-year-old, to get his license, and he didn't get it. He's 20.
He like doesn't want it. It's like, hey, this is how you have freedom.
Exactly.
They like don't
he
want
doesn't. I don't know what's holding him back. And then the other thing was a job. Like his mom said, "Do you want to work?" And he's like, "No, I don't want to work."
Well, I mean, I get that a little bit because it's like you're already getting all your shit paid for, so why would you want to work?
That's the thing. They're not well off. Like, if they want anything, it's like something they gotta save for, which is fine. But like, I'm like, why wouldn't you want your own money?
So they're just choosing, hey, if we just sit on the couch and never want anything, then we're chilling.
Yeah. And so their dad
Which is
literally
sad, but-
was like, hey, son, why don't you come work with me at the company I work at for the summer? He's like, no.
Well, here's the thing. At some point, as a parent, you just got to be like, too bad, bitch. We're going.
And I don't know what their parents are doing that they're like holding them back so much, but the kids have no like incentive to work or do anything because their parents aren't like pressuring them, and then they like don't. And since schools were like online for the past year, they were like, we literally haven't spoken to anyone in the past year besides like our parents.
Man, that's crazy. I'm glad we were not fucking like in school during that time. If I was in high school during that time, bro. And here's the thing, I would take advantage of all that shit. Like I would not talk to anybody because that's how I was kind of too. Like if I didn't have the opportunity, I would just stay inside and not do shit.
I agree. And like I think a lot of people would, and I would too to an extent, but like if you're in third year of uni, man, I just can't understand.
So yeah,
that.
third year of university, over 20 years old. I mean, that's a lot.
It's something else. So eventually, like when they were leaving, he like decided to, you know, be more human. And on his last day with us, he was like, okay, I'll come play spike ball with you guys. So he came and played. I know, it was a big step.
Big turnaround.
Even though it was all people that he'd met, you know, one-on-one, because they would come to our house or something. And
so did he come out on a limb and say, I want to play spike ball with you guys? Or what, did you guys ask him?
We asked him, and we're like, we're not gonna keep asking you. We're annoyed by like how much you're like saying no to us.
Right.
So we're gonna ask you once. If you say no, we're not gonna say anything else. And you know, these are for your own benefit. We're not doing this to help ourselves. Like we don't need you guys here, obviously. So the last day, we're like, okay, we're going to play spike ball, and we didn't tell him like how many people are gonna be there, because you only need 4 players. So I think he assumed it was like us 3 and 1 other person, but it was actually like 8 people.
Oh, you manipulative man.
So we got him out, but it was so funny. His whole body language was like just him being anxious.
What is our name for him?
We'll call him.
Oh, let me reset this.
Oh man, it's already been 29 minutes. His name starts with a D, so let's call him like. And the way he was playing was so funny. It was like very stiff movements and like there was no pressure on him. You know, we were all like professional school students. It was like my brother's dentistry friends and like some
not exactly
friends.
the most athletic bunch in the world.
Well,
that's
everyone's very athletic.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yo, it is surprising. Like, you would think, you get to med school or something and there's going to be a bunch of fucking dweebs, but some of the people, man, I mean, a decent portion of the people are fucking pretty athletic, I would say.
It's actually a lot. I don't know if it's different from the US, but in Canada, the most important thing is doing well in the interview, which is 60% of your application.
Holy fuck, really?
Yeah.
That is not how it is in the US.
So you have to be social for the most part to get in.
So having catatonia like that guy probably won't help.
I'm surprised you knew what catatonia was because we saw a case yesterday or 2 days ago and I didn't know what it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I had psych already, so.
Oh, I guess that's true. So it was. I'm glad he came out. He didn't say like very many words at all. He was like, "Oh, okay. Oh, okay." That's all he said.
Damn, man. He's got a long way to go.
But no one was like, there's no pressure on him. But I think his performance was very hindered by the fact that
he was like nervous and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm glad he came out. And so remind me, I want to talk about career as well for him.
Mm-hmm.
And on, continuing with this tangent.
The Cousin podcast.
Yeah.
Wait, what was the name? Oh.
Yeah. So on his last day, he was like, oh, I think he told us, he didn't tell me, but he told like my brother or sister that he was very surprised at the way that we lived. He thought we'd be completely different, but like we're all like very nice for the most part.
That's how the person put it?
Yeah. And like social, he didn't think we would go out as much as we do and like we wouldn't have the lives that we do.
Was this unprompted? He just started talking about this, or it was like...
He told my brother, I think.
Oh, okay.
And he was surprised that we were old, but through the pandemic, and we still, maintain these connections because he didn't think that
he just like gave up on him, huh?
Yeah.
Huh.
He was like, he had those two friends, and he's like...
People look for excuses to just be like, all right, well, I can't do that anymore. And
excuses galore in this one. You would have a field day, bro. I know, like, what you've been through. Yeah. So looking at him, you'd be like, oh, man, I want to change fucking everything. And I think it would be a great project to take on, honestly.
Oh, man.
But he doesn't have a lot to work with, though. Like, he's super skinny.
I can't take on too many projects right now.
And he needs to shave. But we also talked about career, and we were like, what are you guys interested in? You're in university, so what track are you on? And he said,
an investment banker.
He's like, I want to be a club promoter.
That would be the best shit.
It's a 4-year degree, apparently. It's hard to get
fucking club promoter.
Very competitive.
Yeah, I want to own a brothel.
I want to lose my virginity for the first time.
I want to own a spike ball skills shop.
Oh my god, bro, that'd be sick. I'm regretting not bringing spike ball because it was so much fun.
Dude, you should have.
So he was like, I want to do something like you guys. I want to
be a motivational speaker when I grow up.
Oh my god, bro, all these jobs would have been like the worst possible thing for him. He's like, I want to do something like you guys, like my brother's in dent, or like me and my sister in med. So he's like, I did medicine or dentistry, and we're like, okay, like what's your backup? And he's like, oh, I was actually gonna ask you guys, what's a good backup? I was like, oh man.
He just lets the whole world persuade him.
Yeah, and his parents think that he knows everything of like what he needs to do to get his career on track, but he doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
Like I said, like Canadian med schools and dentistry schools, MCAT, excuse me, the MCAT is like 10 or 20% of your application.
And bro, he's third year university and he doesn't know what he wants to do yet.
Yeah,
that's tough, man.
Well, he does, but it's not going to work out very well based on like how it's going now.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't realize that like application is so heavily geared towards the interview. So I'm like, what are you going to do if you get into I didn't say this to him, but my sister and I were discussing. I was like, what he's going to do if he gets into a room with an interviewer? Like when I first did the interview, pants. I was literally like, my leg was like this, dude. It was so bad. And this was interviewing with my friend at my house.
Damn.
So it's
that's ridiculous.
It's nerve wracking when you're under pressure.
Though, yeah.
So I don't think he understood, and we were like, okay, like between each other, like my sister and I, we were like, okay, this is not going to go well because it's so competitive. You could have the grades And
I mean, let's be real. I mean, not to fucking toot your horn, but you are very smart. You had the grades and the fucking test scores.
Yeah.
And you're not exactly, you know, the worst speaker in the world. But goddamn, that's crazy.
I used to be much worse, but
Yeah.
he has like good grades. I think. I'm not sure. He said he has a different grading system. I don't understand it. But I told him, like, you can have the best grades in the world, but there's some fucking kid out there who
They
has
don't
the
take
best grades.
catatonic kids. They don't.
Yeah. And that kid
You need
with
to have
best
fluid
grades,
movements.
like, plays 8 sports, and they fucking, you know, volunteer with homeless children on the weekend. Like,
Right.
what do you do that puts you above them?
They had sex with the wife of the doctor that they're interviewing with.
They're sexually active too. It's a big one. When they ask you that on the interview, what are you gonna say?
Yeah. So you fucking or
What are you gonna do when the answer is no?
Pretty good MCAT score. Okay, nice. So you volunteering? Okay, good. So you fucking or what's up?
That should be
You
a
like
question on the
titties or
test.
what's going on
Are your
here?
titties or ass, man? It's like, I wish I knew.
Damn, I'd be the best interviewer, huh?
That's the thing. You gotta ask the questions that matter. You know? I don't care where homelessness is going. Homeless is not a problem. Titties and ass.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Let's get to the real root of everything, the real crux. Do you like ass or what's going on?
So, you know, he was asking for backups, and we're like, you could do. He is doing a health science degree, and I'm like, why are you doing that? And he's like, oh, I'm interested in computers, but the classes seem like very difficult, so I didn't want to do them. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, if you don't get into medicine, your degree is useless. Like, you can't get any jobs with it. At least with a computer science degree, you can do something. So we, you know, gave it to him straight, like, you know, you gotta like try harder for things.
But here's the thing, he's gonna go one of two ways with this. He's either gonna, you know, scamper and like Google this shit and like, oh fuck, I'm so fucked, like I gotta figure this out. Otherwise he's just gonna do nothing.
Yeah.
And probably the latter.
Yeah. And he even said when he gets home that like he's gonna implement these things, and I was like,
Bet.
I think he said this to me and my brother, and I was like, you're not.
But I mean, here's the like, I could see myself doing the same type of thing, you know. I mean, if it was two people that I respected that told me that, then I'd be like, all right, fuck, I better get my shit together, you know. Even back in the day. But
I don't know if he respects us. Like, he saw us once, and I don't know if his like.
But here's the thing. I mean, it seems like anyone who has like connections to the real world and he has none, like I feel like that's even just enough for him to be like, fuck. I mean, these guys are kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he like thought highly of us, but I don't know if he like really respected what we thought.
Oh, okay.
So maybe he did, but I'm like, you know, if you're at home and you have no one pressuring yourself, your home is where all your like associations are built. You see your bed, you associate jacking off, you know, whatever, and you see your like, you know, study table, you go on the computer.
And you that's where you do heroin, right?
Yeah.
And so you just want to shoot up.
Yeah. In like our town, he didn't know anyone, didn't know anything, so we exposed him to everything, and he had an outlet. But how was he going to be able to do that on his own without having learned
Now
it?
he associates everything he hates with you guys.
Bro,
and
that's
so
fine,
one
man.
day he's going to find you and he will kill you.
He needs to learn these hard lessons from us, one way or another. So I don't think he's going to do too well, but he needed more training. He was like, at the end of the trip, he was like, I want to move here now. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he wanted to like move to my town because...
I mean, it sounds like he respects you guys.
Well, I don't even live there. I think mostly like from my brother, because my brother like
I fucking hate you guys. Can I move in with you?
Yeah. It would have been, honestly, it would have been really good if he did move to our town.
Yeah.
I think he would have, like, if we took him under our wing and like helped him. But, you know, he lives in Toronto, so there's no shortage of people. He has all the people that like.
Man, Toronto, there's plenty of shit happening. Like,
Yeah.
I'm surprised he doesn't have a life.
But I just don't think he knows how to do it. I think if anything, he would move to like my town just to like learn how to be more social and like.
We need a different name than for him. Something funnier.
Dan.
Huh?
Dan.
Dan is not funnier. Like a nickname.
A nickname?
Honestly, when we started this shit, we should have just made nicknames for everybody.
Fuck.
How about what's like an awkward person?
Awkward person?
Yeah.
With
He could
D?
just be.
Piglet, what did you find out? Was she awfully fearfully awful?
At first I thought so, but then I found out. She's very nice.
Catatonic or something.
We'll call him Hanks.
Hanks? All
Yeah.
right, that's cool.
Because that's one of my like delusional patients.
Also, didn't Tom Hanks play like a retarded guy one
Oh
time?
yeah, that's true. You can't say that word anymore.
Oh yeah, oops.
He was mentally
It's not in the
challenged.
DSM-5 anymore.
Mentally challenged, okay. We don't want to offend any viewers.
Mentally handicapped? What are the words we use? Is it?
I don't fucking know, bro. I
Yeah,
just say retarded all the time, so just not on the pod.
He has a low I. He's mentally retarded. He's got a small, tiny brain.
His brain is fuck it, whatever. I couldn't think of anything. What did I say I wanted to discuss? Oh yeah, okay. So the last thing I'll say about this is the thing I mentioned this morning, where all the opportunity, or like a little earlier, all the opportunities you have are when you're young, you know. And I was telling you about that girl that went and rotated at the hospital. She went to Oxford University, then went to Zucker for med school. Like, you can say whatever you want about her, but one thing that I know about her is that she's good with people. Because to get anywhere, you got to be good with people. And if at the stage in your life where you're setting up for a career, you're not good with people, you're not going anywhere.
And some people are really good with people. Wink, wink.
I don't get it.
Did she do a little extra something to get into Oxford? Or is she just very charismatic?
Yeah. I get you.
I wish there was stats. Obviously, this would never happen because it's a secretive thing. But I wish there was stats on how many people get into shit by just like sucking the right dick or something.
Yeah.
You know, I'm really curious.
I wish it was easier for guys too. Like,
Yeah. How about we get some opportunities?
I would eat a puss to get into a good place.
Right.
If I was single, of course.
Even if she was like a cow, like to get into, let's say,
You know what? Never
let's say
mind.
your choice residency. Why not? You wouldn't do it?
No.
It's offered right on the table right now. Just this one moment, and then it's over with. You don't have to do any of the application process. It's over. You're in the residency you want with your girlfriend.
Bro, if it's like a fat chick,
Fat as fuck.
bro, I don't know if I could, man.
Unkempt would be in the physical exam.
Everything smells bad when you're
Not
fat,
well
bro.
groomed.
I
Bro,
don't
it's
think I
one
could.
moment, dude. That's it.
But,
Once
like,
it's over.
Could you go through with it, like without throwing up? Was what I mean.
Is that important to you?
Like, is it gonna like? I'm assuming the lady like wants me to like go through and finish without being disgusted.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could. I don't know if
You
I could
couldn't
hide
act?
it. I don't know if I could hide it. I would gag for sure.
Okay, what if she's into that? That's fine.
And I have a girlfriend, right?
Yeah. She's okayed it.
She's okay with it?
Yeah.
Fuck it then.
Wow, that was a quick turnaround. What the fuck?
She's okay with it, like, and I just have to eat it, and she's okay with me gagging. Like, what the fuck is wrong with that? Like,
All right, so we need more opportunities out there. So
Yeah, more
that's why we're
opportunities
putting
for
more
men.
women in positions of power. So then we can get a little fucking, bump up.
yeah. But yeah, so that was my thing. Like, I was just when I saw her like Instagram or whatever, I was thinking, if I was younger and I was as socially adept as I am now, which is still not very socially adept, I
You
feel
would
like-
show your tits a little bit more.
Yeah, I feel like I have a lot to improve on. But if I was at the stage then that I am now, I could have gone so many more places.
Oh, I mean, for sure.
Like,
but
and I'm sure that's the same for you.
but
and
here's the
everyone
thing.
else.
I mean, then there's 40-year-olds who would say the same thing about being 26. You know what I mean? Like, oh, dude, if I had this knowledge at 26, like, I
Yeah.
would just go fucking off.
But is that like not true?
No, it is true. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, the fact that you're being like, oh, a lot of my opportunities are gone now, which is like true, but you probably still have almost all those same opportunities plus more right now. Like,
Yeah, but okay, let's go specifically for med school, because Canadian med school.
Okay,
very
I mean,
competitive.
yeah, with that kind of shit, the earlier the better.
Yeah.
But you can still
And-
get it done later. I just
Yeah.
wouldn't recommend it.
It's much harder later because
Why even do it later?
I know, man.
You're just
it's not-
wasting your
it's
fucking
not worth
time.
it. And I told him
More
too-
effort for like. I don't know.
I told him that like, don't go chasing it, because a lot of it's very competitive. There's too many applicants and not enough spots, so a lot of people chase it.
Well, it
And
doesn't
so-
seem like he really wants it either.
Yeah, I don't think he does. I think he thinks he wants it, but he doesn't. But I don't want him to go and keep trying and trying and trying year after year, and he's pushing all these other things because he has the hope that one day he might get in. And a lot of people waste a lot of time like that. Like, I know I wasted a lot of time like that. And if I could go back in the past, I'd be like, bro, fuck it. Just go to SGU, man. Get it
That's
over
what I
with.
did. That's
the way
right,
to do
folks.
it.
Just settle whenever possible. Just go right to the easier route.
Yeah, dude.
Whatever's gonna get you there.
Just at some point, you gotta cut your losses. And
Yeah, actually.
like, time is very important, especially at like when you're young. You can finish faster, do whatever you want. So I advise him to like go into something else. Honestly, I was like, if you don't like this, and if you're not into it, if you don't want to talk to people for the rest of your life, then healthcare is not for you. The other options, I was
Or
like,
you could be a radiologist.
yeah.
You just
There's a
like
lot more steps.
sit in a dark room and then type to people.
If you get through medical school and you still don't want to talk to people, I'll be surprised.
A lonely radiologist. He typed like within the X-ray that he's sending you. He's like, "So I hope you're having a good day today." Like, yeah, his fibula is broken
That's
in
the only
the
message that he gets.
proximal area, and I hope you're having a lovely day, Ken.
Ken, wow.
He like sends you subtle messages like, "Please talk to me."
Man, if you can go through medical school and you still want to be a radiologist, like, I'll be
Bro, more
surprised.
props to you because
Yeah.
I don't fucking want to do it.
Yeah, I feel like I need to talk to someone. That's like my
Oh,
entertainment
man.
for the day.
They just sit in there and just type shit and look
Yeah.
at pictures. And not
But-
fun pictures.
Yeah, they're like boring pictures. They're like pictures where you can't see people's boobs, but you know they're there. So I told him like do nursing or like, you know, pharmacy with your degree, but really there's nothing to do with your degree. I was like, if you like computers, you should switch.
Yeah, that
And-
kind of degree, you go all in or you do something else.
Yeah. But hopefully here's my take home message. Hopefully he puts the steps that takes the steps that he needs to improve, because at this point
Now or
I don't
never,
see him
baby.
going anywhere.
Now or
Like,
never.
He the job market right now, like because of the pandemic and everything, is so like difficult for anything like above entry level. Excuse me. That even like computer science, if we decided to do, or engineering, whatever, there's so few jobs because like it's not needed right now. Like you need to at least like be able to do a good interview. And I don't know, I just hope he takes the steps. He said he was.
Has
but
he ever had a job before?
No.
Wow. Yeah.
And I was like, even at
Yeah.
McDonald's, man, you got to start somewhere.
Dude,
Like,
just
I get it.
anywhere, just so you get some experience. Anything, man.
There's a McDonald's across the street from his house, he said. And I was like, why don't you work there? He's like, oh, I don't want to work there. I'm like,
Of
bro,
course you don't.
you have no references, man. Just start anywhere.
These goddamn kids.
Man, kids these days, they don't know how to
Fucking
live.
kids.
And his sister is even worse. I wanted to hit her, but that's another story for another time. But I hope he makes the changes, but I don't see it happening. My brother keeps in touch with him, but I haven't really asked him yet. Hopefully, he's at least like 1% different than what he was. Because what he was just like super frustrating to be around.
We're praying for you, Hanks. We're praying for you, Tom Hanks.
Hanks,
You can make
man.
it, man.
Hanks.
All right, I'm going to do a segue. Speaking of one of the times when, speaking of having sex to try to get to the top, which is breaking rules. Do you remember back in the day when we got caught cheating? We were trying to do the clickers for the question or for the questions and lectures. So back when we were in Grenada on the island, we had to go into lecture, and each year it gets progressively more pointless to go into lecture. It's less helpful to you, and you just don't care as much.
Plus, all the freaking professors speak like gibberish.
They speak gibberish, and like, it's nothing against teaching. It's just they taught poorly, and it was these very complicated subjects that you can't just breeze through in a presentation over an hour. You have to like really go through it.
Who was that one professor that was like he was some like African professor, but
Oh,
like,
I know. Yeah, I didn't hear a single word. Yeah,
Yeah.
No one listened. You can't. You would be hurting yourself if you listened.
I didn't
Like,
understand a single word, man. My ears would be bleeding.
So it's just not worth it. So the bottom line, every single student, even students who are like good students, are trying to do anything besides listen. So everyone tries to get around it, right? Well, we went the full 9 yards and fucking we're like, all right, we have to do these attendance clicker checks at the beginning and end of each lecture. So we just give it to one person, have them click in for like 4 people, and then we switch out, who's that person. And it was working for a while. They do random clicker checks, so we just like try to get the inside scoop, make sure we were set, that they weren't going to have a clicker check that day, and we did our best. But one day, we paid the Pied Piper.
One fateful Thursday.
Yeah, was it a Thursday?
Yeah, that was my day to go.
Oh yeah, so the lucky person is the one who's got the clickers with them and clicks in for everybody, because he's in there to sign out with his clicker. Yeah. Everyone else who isn't able to sign out gets fucked. So Ken is the lucky one, drew the good straw, and he was chill.
Thursday was my day, so I went in, I clicked for everyone. The funny thing is, someone messaged me that like, hey, there might be a clicker check, but my phone wasn't with me.
Oh, you fucker.
It was in my backpack or something. So I didn't see the message.
You asshole. That's literally your only job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought.
But like that, to be fair, like people said that the week before as well, and nothing happened.
Hey man, we have to come through on all false alarms.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's the point?
There was a lot of like, false flags and whatever. But yeah, that happened to be the day.
Bro. Yeah, so we got fucked. So we got 5% of our grade off, and then if it ever happened again, I think like there was very serious circumstances. But so 5% of our total grade, and I think if we got under some percent, like 70% for our total, that you fail, right? And you have to repeat the term. So I mean, I already am working my ass off to try to get my grades high enough to pass, and now I get 5% of my grade off. I'm like, oh fuck. And then they bring you in. So they bring you into this. Speaking of interviews and like shitting the bed. They bring you in. You're surrounded by 4 of the like top like head professors at the place, and they sit you in the middle of this fucking table with them surrounding you, and they're like, so why did you do it? Why did you do it? Like as if I fucking like pressed the nuclear bomb code or something. I was like, oh my god.
Oh my god.
I mean, here's the thing, I'm pretty good under pressure, but my heart is fucking pumping, son. I'm absolutely, and I heard beforehand that they ask you who clicked for you.
Yeah. So
they're gonna ask me to throw Ken under the fucking bus and to reveal my partners who were in this thing too.
Yeah.
And they go, so why did you do it? I'm like, well, to be honest, I don't study very well. I can't listen very well when I'm in class there, and I just don't get the information. So it's better if I am not doing it and I'm doing my own thing. I put my headphones in and I study elsewhere. I study. And they're like, oh, okay, all right.
Wait,
like,
don't they say like, someone else told me that one of their questions was, how do you know that you don't do well in lecture?
Yeah, they asked me all those types of questions, and I had to keep coming up with stuff. But I just answered it honestly, because I'm like, look, I just don't learn that much. Like I've tried, and I've done worse, and I'm doing this, and they're like, okay, and they keep asking more detailed questions.
Your lectures are not good.
And I pretty much the only thing I lied about or tried to avoid was your lectures kind of suck ass. Yeah. So I didn't want to like offend them too hard. But then they're like, okay. So who clicked in for you? And you want to know what I said? I'm like, I don't want to tell you. They're like, okay, you don't want to tell us. I'm like, no, I don't. I really don't want to tell you. And they're like, well, you realize that your friend, whoever it was, clicked in for you, and they broke the code too, and you admit that you broke the rules, right? I'm like, yeah, I broke the rules. And they're like, so your friend broke the rules too? And I'm like, yeah, my friend broke the rules too. They're like, so you have to reveal your friend. I'm like, I'm not going to reveal my friend. They did a full Patrick, is this your wallet from SpongeBob to me? And I'm like, that's not my wallet.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
And then they did that like a couple times, and then at some point, the guy's just like, okay, sounds good. Just like got away with it. I'm like,
don't
all right.
believe in your code, bro.
And so you were chilling, yeah.
It's such a bullshit rule, man. Like I don't know why. At one point, in most med schools, like back in the day, you studied from textbooks. Lectures were like optional. Like my dad was like, I never went to lectures. I just read the book.
Well, and here's the thing. What they should do is they should do that. They should just do the textbooks and shit. And then they should have like smaller sessions where it's like, look, I'm having trouble with this topic.
Yeah.
This professor is like giving either a lecture on it or has like an open session where you can ask questions on it. Boom. That's all you need. Like something like that,
If their lectures were good, it would make sense to go
for sure.
for some people. But like, you know, if everything is in the notes and if I can learn better on my own, why would I want to waste my time going to lectures if I don't need to?
Honestly, even if the lectures were good, I just don't think I can my brain can take that shit in. Like it's just too much, too fast, and in a certain way that
It's
I'm
like
just unable.
you're already, you know, primed to learn one way, and if I'm studying at my desk, I don't want to go and take a lecture in because I don't study the same. But I felt so bad when that happened. I was like, bro, I'll take like fucking 15% if you guys can all like get away with it. I felt so bad.
Yeah, no, it's chill,
And
man.
what's her name for like fuck, you can bleep this.
Yeah, I'll bleep
what
it.
time is it? For
I'll look it up. But who?
for
5318.
all right. I don't know what her name for David is, but like I felt so bad for him because he literally joined like Tuesday and then fucking
he joined our little fucking kamikaze group right before he got fucked. That's so funny.
And
I literally met him at that point too.
Yeah. And when I signed my name for like the clicker check on how they caught us, I went outside and I think like the consensus was so many fucking people got caught that like we were surprised that they took any action because we're like literally like 100 people are gonna get caught in this clicker check.
Oh yeah, like half our fucking class.
It was
got
insane.
Caught. It was insane.
So like, oh, we gotta bleep his name.
I got it.
What name did we have for him?
It's just we just go D.
D. Okay.
Yeah, and that's why you said the other guy's name, and I'm like, oh fuck.
Okay.
That's just gonna be confusing.
He was like
got it.
standing outside. He was like literally sweating, and not from the Grenadian heat, but he was like so nervous. He's like, bro, I'm so fucked. I just joined too, and I felt so bad for him.
Oh man.
I'm like, yo, this is the risk you take. You know,
I mean, yeah. Here's the thing. He knew the risks. He knew the risks.
Could have happened to any of us.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, like it doesn't matter. Like
Yeah, I mean because our overall grade, as long as you pass to the next term, couldn't fucking mean less. It means so little.
Yeah. Plus, like clinicals, like really help with grades too, because everyone gets an A or B in you know, your clinical rotations, and then it just depends on like your test, which is like 40% of your grade or something. So you know, you're already doing well, so everyone got a grade boost from that anyway. Besides the person with like a fucking 98 going out, leaving Grenada.
Yeah, but that's not fucking any of us. So
Yeah, Chelsea Spencer, I think. Name dropped.
Name drops so hard, dude.
What else you got?
I mean, we had tea right before we did this podcast, and I don't know what special thing you do, like what secret brown people have, like that you put into tea, but I can never make it like that.
It's my special sauce, bro.
Your special sauce?
Yeah.
You sprinkle a little like infidel in there or something? What do you do?
What are you gonna do when I'm gone, man? After October,
man.
where are you gonna get your tea?
I don't know, man. I'm just gonna kill myself.
This apartment isn't pretty great, but I just don't know where I can also find like a place this big for this price. Like,
Well, yeah, we murdered that.
we have an amazing amount of space. Like every other apartments that I've seen, for like our price, no one gets.
Everyone who comes in here goes, holy fuck, he's huge. You must pay so much. And then we tell them the price and they go, all right, fuck you. Like, how dare you?
This is a New York mansion. One of the girls in my rotation is paying $3,800 for a studio. Crazy, dude.
Bro, I pay less than 1,000.
Insane amount.
It's fucking insane.
But that's downtown Brooklyn. But Ridgewood got some deals. We should just get this place and like rent it.
But people say this is like a ghetto, and I don't see it. Like, you know what I mean? I haven't
Compared to
seen anyone
downtown Brooklyn?
I've been here a year. I just never saw a single person get mugged. I never saw anything like that. Like, keep
Another
going.
29. How do you feel about stopping here, bro? I'm like losing my voice.
Well, we can go as long as we want now because I have a different setup for Lisbon or whatever, the service that I send it through. So we can do as long as we want. But yeah, we can stop now if you
Alright,
want.
let's cut it here. I'm like,
You're like ready to, your throat's like, oh,
I just noticed the cough's getting more and more frequent, and my voice is changing a little bit.
too much special sauce in the back of the throat there.
I might have COVID. I'm telling you.
Been working your way to the top
This
recently,
could be
huh?
it.
I hope you got some good letters of recommendation. coming your
Dr.
way.
I had to milk it out of him, bro.
Gross, dude.
I can say Dr. because there's probably like 10 million of them.
I don't know, man. I probably should fucking bleep that. Too.
He's on vacation right now.
57.35.
Yeah.
You talk to him regularly or what?
He posts on Facebook, man. I'm still trying to get a Switch so we can play video games together. I really want to play with him. I want to get on there and go on voice chat and call him by his first name and be like, "You're not my boss anymore, so I can call you by your first name."
All right, we'll cut it, dude. Thanks for spending your hour with us.
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah, we're back, son. Brought to you by Ken's dating service. 25% off with the promo code Ken.
And the U.S. military. Go to U.S. Armed Forces.
Yeah. Sponsored by the Marines. But yeah, we'll see you next week.
Bleep.
Peace.